This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hello and welcome to Party Loaded episode 11. My name's Luke Retallick. This is the episode for Wednesday the 3rd of February. Gathered here with the party as per usual, which consists of, we have Ollie. How you doing?
Hello.
Cool. We have Jam.
Hola.
Welcome, Jam. And we have Imogen.
Hello, friends.
And I don't think I've forgotten anybody.
Hooray.
Welcome back for another class. And let's get into what we've been playing straight away. Let's dispense with any time wasting, such as the last 40 minutes before starting.
Oh, God. Plus, we need a gold reels, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We do. There was some funny stuff. All right, so anyway, we usually kick the show off with what we've been playing for the last week, which is a good way for us to sort of cover some weird and wacky games. Tonight, Ollie, what have you been playing in the last 7 days?
Right. I've been playing some GTA Online with the gang, just mucking around. I tried the new Beast vs. Slasher mode, actually.
Ooh.
That was fun.
Really fun. I'm a fan.
So I think we need a better balancing, though. Because...
We do, because we've got some really good players and some really not players.
Well, I know that you're not referring to me in either of those cases because I wasn't on, so
All
that's
one.
good.
But if you were on, what would you
He'd
consider
be in the
yourself
latter,
to be?
not the former.
Yeah, I'm good at some things in
snaps.
GTA, but really not good at most things.
Like RPGing people in cars.
Yeah.
Or patience.
No, patience is what I'm really not good at. That's probably the thing I'm worst at.
And yet you're playing a puzzle game that requires patience.
Yeah, but see, Ollie, this is how it works. When there's an RPG in front of me, I lose all sense of patience. I just want to use
no
that
sense
thing
of right or wrong.
right away. Yeah, exactly. Whenever there's any moral ambiguity, I just want to jump on that big red button at an instant's notice. It's what it is.
You're a monster.
Yeah, I'm happy to wear that moniker. So, did you get to try out that new game mode with the skydiving? What was
Drop
the deal?
Zone.
No, I haven't tried that out yet. We did some wacky races that were a bit too wacky, but that's all good.
Oh, I'm sad I missed wacky races.
I played some Crypt the Necrodancer.
Nice.
That was something we'll talk about later. I'm clicking a lot today. I don't know why. Sorry. I'm just going to keep clicking now. I've really been enjoying The Secret World, actually. So I've gone from immensely disliking MMOs, because I've only ever tried one, and I stayed well clear of Warcraft, because, goddamn, digital crack I don't need. And yeah, The Secret World is hitting all the sort of right buttons for me. And I think it's mostly because I like that's the theme of the game, which is supernatural and everything mythological is real. I quite like that. It reminds me of World of Darkness.
Yeah.
And the quest system is really nice. I really like how the quests are working. That, and there's not a million things you have to keep track of. You just go, here's my 7 active powers, here's my 7 passive powers, I mix. The end. So it's great.
So in terms of the quest, what's the most interesting one you've done so far?
The investigations, they're just cool because I get to use all my stupid niche Latin and supernatural knowledge. I can be like, it's that.
Nice.
It's great.
It's cool. Yeah, I just on the topic of the sort of stuff that you like that relates to Secret World, because you're a big Eldritch horror kind of fan, aren't you?
Yep, love me my cosmic horror.
On a slightly related note, did you see that they announced Cthulhu Pandemic board game today?
I did, and that will actually make me buy Pandemic for the first time ever.
Oh my god, that looks
Not
super
surprised.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to sell me stuff, put tentacles in it.
No.
Wow.
I said that
phrase it like
completely
that.
deadpan, by the way.
That's what she said.
My face, wall.
Good god, he's
Japan.
a sucker for anything.
Hello there.
All right.
Oh, Luke, why?
I quit.
But
I'm out.
Done. Sorry, good night, guys.
Before you quit, Jam, what have you been
thanks
playing?
for joining us, guys. You can catch
yeah,
us
okay.
on.
So while I'm still here,
Yeah.
I played some Rocket League, which was super fun. I had some really awful games, including one with 0 points where I was near useless, and some others where I was contributing. Yay!
Wait, did you say your player score was 0 points?
I had 0 points for the game.
How is that possible?
Shut up. I got touches, just nothing.
They give you points. If you're defending, at least.
No. This was like mid ground, sort of.
Wow.
I was playing with Sam and Ari.
You're really bad.
I was playing with Sam and Ari, and they were like guiding it through the sky, bouncing it back and forth between one another and into the goal.
You may as well not have been there. You could just put down your controller and be like, I'm just going to watch.
I know.
Same impact.
I was the cheering squad. It was amazing, and I didn't have to, do anything.
Who did cheer squad?
I'm present, thus I'm winning.
But no,
I
other games,
participated.
I was cool. Like, I did things that worked, and I was happy, and I got
didn't
goals.
get you 0 points.
And I unlocked the potato GLaDOS for my antenna, so I was really, really happy. Woo! Really happy. Played some GTA. I got to try Drop Zone with my brother, and that was fun because I'm on a controller and I have a little bit of aim assist, so I was just mowing people down. It was hilarious. No shame.
So for people new to the whole thing, what is Drop Zone? Because Drop Zone's just been added to the game in the last week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool. There's like a tiny little zone of play amongst the huge whole big map of Los Santos, and you split into 2 teams, and you each have to drop from helicopters or planes high above, scream on down, deploy a parachute as late as possible, otherwise people just, spray and pray and try and shoot you out of the sky, and advance on this circle where if your team, at least one person from your team's in it uncontested, it's like King of the Hill, not Capture the Flag, King of the Hill. It starts to smoke your team's colour if you're in control, and then a timer starts ticking up. And there's a goal, like a certain number of seconds. I'm not sure what it is. I can't remember. And then around it is scattered weapons and some cover and stuff. And yeah, it was really good fun. We played a few. They needed a little work on the balancing, though. I don't know if whoever was running it wasn't using the balancing mechanics, because we'd easily drop in with, 6 players compared to their 8 or whatever. It was a little bit iffy, but still enjoyable.
Nice.
And didn't necessarily determine who won.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun, and just a lot of mucking around too. A lot of weird races and some good hacker sessions and some bad ones. There was one where
hackers with tanks.
Yeah, the hackers spawned everyone a tank, which was fun. But then I played another one the other day where just the hacker had the tank and was completely invincible, and that was no fun because he'd just spawn camp, like hunt you down over and over and over.
It constantly amazes me that Rockstar have not gotten on top of this whole hacker issue, considering that it's actually a game that people pay real money for to be able to do stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it also is avoidable. Like at any time I could have dropped out and created a private session had I wanted to. So,
We just had fun running extraction missions into the city to try and get players out.
I am surprised it hasn't quietened down yet. Like previous expansions, you'd have hackers or updates, you'd have hackers for a little bit and then they'd get a handle on it. But it doesn't seem like ever since the 3 major updates ago, they never quite got a handle on them. They just seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be more prevalent in PC naturally.
Maybe it's just too hard to crack down on.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because apparently the only real way to trace it is by what happens with their inventory and what happens with their money situation.
And if people don't bother reporting too,
if you're going to get $6 million out of it, you're not really going to report them, are you?
Yeah, if someone goes, here's $100 million, don't tell anyone. I'm like, sure, no worries, done.
It's true.
See you later.
It's not like it's a really sort of competitive experience. People aren't kind of up against each other in the same way that you would be in like WoW, where there's actual PvP competition.
You can pay for that money, so people can use real world money to have that much money. So
that's the only detracting factor.
And it doesn't seem to affect the multiplayer minigames. Like it seems to only affect free roam. That's in my experience.
At worst, you leave that server, or you go into your own, or you go into passive.
So there are alternatives which are good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was lots of fun. I dabbled in a little bit of scrap mechanic. I still haven't played a lot, but I jumped onto a friend's game to see what he'd been building. It was so cute. There was this little AT-AT, and he's built a cool house with like a retracting garage door and swing out stairs. and you flick over to the mechanism tool to see how he's wired it, and there's just colourful lines everywhere. It's amazing.
I need to get back into that.
Yeah, I need to actually spend some time making things myself because I want to learn, and it looks like you do so much. What else have I been playing? Crypt of the Necrodancer, which we'll talk about later. Secret World, I got around to doing an investigation mission I hadn't done before. That was lots of fun. So much fun playing with friends. And I'm liking the tank build of my character. She's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So running dungeons and everything, she just runs right into the fight and starts swinging her sword. Yay.
Nice.
Very me. And then the other game that I have played a bunch of, and I know you have too, Luke, is The Witness.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'd only played like an hour, I think, before the last recording. I've played 9 now, and I love it.
Yeah, I think you and I are reasonably close on time in game now.
Yeah. I've got 4 of those beams of light hooked up at the moment, and oh my god, that first moment when I unlocked a glyph on one of those black pillars, that spun me out. That was amazing. Just that feeling.
So on Steam, there are, if you're playing this game on PlayStation, there's a bucket load of trophies that you can get. But if you're playing it on Steam, there's only 2 achievements. One of them's for finishing the game, and one of them's a mystery achievement. And I have a theory, and I haven't actually looked this up specifically, but I'm pretty sure that second achievement is relating to those glyphs.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating. It was a complete surprise. Complete surprise.
Yep.
I was so excited, and I think I messaged the group, and I was like, "Oh my god, Luke!" Yeah. And then I realized I couldn't say anything without giving anything away. So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna wait."
This will mean nothing at all to anybody who has not played this game yet or has not gotten to this point in the game.
I know. Well, I figured out now how to say it obscurely, but at the time I was just like, I want to share.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm loving it. I think there's still at least two puzzle types that I haven't found the learner section for. I've just encountered a complex version of it sort of somewhere else in the game, and I'm not quite sure what to do. So I need to explore the island a bit more, but I've seen a lot of it. Yeah, it's amazing.
There is tons to look at, yeah.
That's my week. It's been just fascinating.
All right, well, I'll lead off into Witness then first, because my experience has been pretty closely mirroring yours, I think. It's a game that just swings wildly between making you feel like an absolute moron to making you feel like the biggest genius ever.
It's so good.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, but I'm definitely not bored of it yet. There is so much in that game to do. And, at the point where we unlock enough of the puzzles to actually finish it, I'm sure there'll be heaps left over. So I could see myself diving back in there quite a bit to try and complete it. And look, anyone who plays this kind of game, there's always going to be that temptation to hop online and look for solutions to some of the puzzles if you get really stuck and frustrated. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not worth it. The satisfaction you'll get for working it out on your own is so much better. So, yeah, no, it's good. Like, so someone mentioned to me it was the sort of game that you'd need sort of like graph paper and pencils and stuff for, and I didn't believe them until I got to the bit where you needed graph paper and pencils and stuff.
I've had to record a couple of things just like for memory's sake, so that I didn't have to memorize it.
I've heard of people actually getting like a whiteboard marker and writing on their monitors.
That's horrifying.
It's incredible. Yeah. One thing I will say that's detracted a little for me, although hardly at all, is it's crashing quite a bit on my computer, and I don't know, it's something to do with the drivers, even though I have the latest drivers for my AMD. It's bizarre. If I run it in low graphics with no VSync, it crashes less. But it's still something that happens fairly regularly.
Really good new PC you got there, Jamie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's great.
Fortunately, I think it's a localized problem for you because I've not heard that from anybody else. But that would definitely make the experience a bit annoying, especially if you just got to the point where you'd worked something out and you're like, oh my God, that's all.
It's insta-save. So the good thing is when I reload it and it doesn't take long, it's right back where I left off. But I'm not enjoying it in
that's a really good feature, actually.
Beautiful graphics.
Yeah.
So, it's a great feature. It makes sense too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing about the game and the way the game works that means that having an instant save would be a problem. Like it makes total sense. So
and it's beautiful. Oh, the number of environments in it and the way it's gorgeous.
yeah, no, it is very, very cool. So I understand that for some people that level of brain power when it comes to solving puzzles and taking notes and all that sort of stuff may not appeal to everyone. Imogen, for example.
Yeah, no, I am not. It looks very pretty. I'll probably watch, a couple of people play it, like playthroughs and things. I'm quite enjoying watching Jamie play games rather than playing them myself at the moment.
I play better when you're watching.
Well, yeah, I'm Jamie's lucky charm.
The peer pressure.
She is.
But yeah, no, it's not a game for me. It does not sound. It looks very pretty and it's doing very well, but not a game for me.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that it's doing really well because it means that the game creator Jonathan Blow will have a fair bit of cash when it comes to putting the next one together, which I believe he's already putting ideas around for. So.
He's obviously a very clever guy. I mean, the game itself is equal parts difficult and rewarding, and that's hard to achieve. So
Absolutely, and there'll be enough hidden stuff after you finish it that'll increase the replay value as well, which is really, really cool. So, yeah. So in addition to The Witness, which I'm still really hesitant to talk about because I don't want to spoil things for people too much. The Secret World I've been enjoying. I found that my intro to that game was a little bit overwhelming, mostly because it involved jumping in with a group of our friends that were a lot more advanced in the game than I was at that particular time, and I was kind of just running around with my head cut off to catch up, and it meant that we were doing a few sort of larger group dungeons and things like that where I was just I was holding my own and not dying too much, but I wasn't really contributing anything either, which meant that I was just sort of hanging around being a XP soak, which from a gameplay
and stole my gear, you jerk.
Yeah, I know that was the best bit of the night.
I'm like, yes, cool sword has been won by Luke. No.
Oh, dear Luke, did you roll need?
I did.
You rolled need.
Well, somebody
Mind
said
if
to me.
I roll need?
Somebody in the group said to me, somebody in the group said to me that because I was so far under equipped compared to everybody else, I should just roll need on everything, and so I did.
You can't even use it.
Luke, you are not new to MMOs. That's a faux pas. You are the Leroy Jenkins of the Secret World group.
I quite possibly am because actually no, I haven't been dying heaps, but anyway. But no, then I stopped doing that and started being a bit nicer after, Ollie nearly committed seppuku in the middle of the game. So, yeah. But he couldn't because I had his sword. But anyway.
Oh, no. Just rub it in.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but I'll echo what Ollie said. I think that the game really is at its best when you're doing some of the investigation style missions. And after we'd sort of wrapped up with the group stuff, I spent a bit of time on later at night just sort of running around solo and doing some missions and stuff. And I loved the hell out of that. That was really, really fun. So I'm doing a really interesting early one at the moment where you need to actually infiltrate a warehouse to find some stored security cameras, and it involves sort of wandering around and avoiding sort of security cameras with lasers mounted on them, sort of spotting you. And there's laser tripwires and stuff that you have to jump over after you sort of see them in the glare of the dust and that sort of thing, which is really interesting. It's not the sort of stuff that I'm used to in any other MMO, put it that way. It's certainly not the sort of missions that you'd ever see in like a World of Warcraft or a game like that. Totally different.
On that note, comparing to other MMOs, because I've literally never done any others besides this sort of thing, how do the dungeons compare? This will be probably more for Jamie than you, but you can chip in for this. How do the dungeons compare? Because I actually quite like the dungeons.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I found about the dungeons that we were doing is that the mechanics of the creatures that you're fighting, like particularly the big boss type creatures, the way they behaved, I think, was kind of similar in some ways to what we're used to in like WoW and that sort of thing. But I found it to be a lot more visible and easier to follow. So, for example, like the runes that appear on the ground when they're using different sort of attacks and the range of their abilities and that sort of stuff, you could track that much more easily visually than you could in WoW, in my perspective. So that actually made it more enjoyable, I thought.
I, for comparison, would compare it. I mean, I haven't done a lot of sort of endgame MMOing, but, I've raided and stuff in Destiny. I prefer Destiny raids just because of the way they're crafted. They're very well crafted.
Yeah, but they're more
Secret
puzzly.
World ones, the Secret World ones are still so much fun. And I've still only seen like 3, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah. Yeah, so far, big fan of the game. I think I can see myself spending a fair bit more time in there. And I think it'll be an ongoing thing with our group as well for a while, so that's cool. So what else? I've been playing a bit of Crypt and the Necrodancer, of course. And I actually dug out StarCraft 2 this week and gave it a bit of a run because I realised that I bought the latest StarCraft 2 expansion, Legacy of the Void, just before Christmas, and I have still not opened the packaging.
Wow.
Cool guy.
Yeah, so I still haven't opened it, but I jumped back into the game just to sort of remember where I was up to with some of the missions and things that I was playing previously, and I'll be able to jump into that expansion pretty soon now that I'm sort of back up to speed. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, Imogen, how about you? What you been doing?
Well, not a lot of gaming, unfortunately. Whole bunch of life, not a lot of gaming. But I did play some Secret World this week, but a very, very small amount, and was sort of running around doing stuff. It was with Ollie, wasn't it? You were there?
Yes,
And,
I was there. I killed zombies.
That was the sort of mindset I thought, I'll jump on and I'll try and do some stuff by myself, because I had very similar experience to you, Luke. When you're on with lots of people, you just kind of, you've completed this, and you're not really sure how you did it or what was happening. And I did sort of learn that it's not as simple as, go to where it says the next part is. You actually have to do a bit of searching. And so that was really interesting, and that's really different. So I am looking forward to being able to spend more time in that, but I am getting the sense that everyone else is streaks ahead of me now.
Not me.
And this is a danger zone for me, because this is when I quit WoW. So I will try and stick at it, and we'll see, and hopefully I can catch up or whatever, but we'll try. I played some Heroes of the Storm after our discussion last week. I thought it deserved a second go. And we played some games in, a full team against their AI, but at quite a difficult level. I think it was veteran. And I think, considering, I don't even know when we started playing. October? November?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, in November we were playing adept level and losing on a regular basis, and now I think we would be hard pushed to lose in a veteran level game. So we are, as a team, leveling up, but we didn't play against real people, so we'll see. I had one of the most embarrassing moments of my Heroes of the Storm career when I was killed 3 times by Murky in one game.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, if the first time it happened, I was just in shock, and I think Dave saw it and he's like, "Oh, that's embarrassing." Yep, and he killed me 3 other times. It's a build that I've not seen happen with Murky before, where he has a stun and traps you, and then when he's partnered with somebody else, there is just no getting out of it because you can hit through his stun. And yeah, he got me a fair few times, and I think that's the important part of playing at the higher levels against the AI, is you start seeing them bigger, beefier, more advanced builds of characters, and sort of learning that, because there's things that I've seen some characters we've been playing against for a long time, I've never seen them do that, or that's an interesting build. So that's been really useful and fun. And then, of course, I've played a small amount of Crypt of the Necrodancer, but we will talk more about my failure as a gamer this week later.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should move on into some of the news highlights of the week. And this is where I get to talk about something that is near and dear to me as a video gamer, and that is Hearthstone.
Oh man, we really do need that safe word, guys. Yeah.
So, look, I've been pretty good. I've been light on the topic in recent times because there hasn't been a lot of Hearthstone news. But today, in fact, there was a bit of a bombshell dropped, and it's definitely worth talking about because it's going to have a pretty big impact on the game for quite some time to come. From this point onwards, I would actually say. So
here comes the flooding sploosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to try and keep this as succinct as possible. So Hearthstone for quite some time has operated with usually 2 expansions to the game each year. One being like an actual card expansion and one being an adventure sort of expansion, which allows you to sort of play through a series of scenarios and get new cards as you play through them. The end effect of this, of course, is that the game tends to grow, and the number of cards added to the game pool grows exponentially over time, and it's only going to keep getting bigger. So Blizzard, quite rightly, have sort of looked ahead and determined that that going on forever is probably going to cause some problems. So they have actually announced as of today that there is going to be a split in the format for Hearthstone games. So they've actually changed it so that there's two ways to play Hearthstone for the most part now. One is going to be wild format, which basically is exactly how Hearthstone is now. So all the cards in the game to date are fair game, and you play with basically your entire collection, which is pretty cool. So all the weird and wacky stuff that will happen as more and more cards get added to the game will be a thing. The second format, and this is, I'm going to draw a lot of parallels to the world's largest collectible card game in paper form here, which is Magic the Gathering, of course. The second format is standard. Now, Magic the Gathering has a standard format, which is very similar to what Blizzard have announced for Hearthstone, which...
Basically identical.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, yeah. So, I mean, Magic generally... Ollie, correct me if I'm wrong, but these days Magic usually has like 3 expansions per year. Is that about right?
No, they actually slowed it down.
So it's 2 now?
Yeah.
2 and a core set?
See what they did there? Exactly the same.
Oh, no. All right, so Hearthstone are basically going to have a standard cycle as well. So when you're playing games in standard mode, you will basically use all of the core cards for the game, which is all the stuff that you start with, plus the main sort of core set that you can unlock as you go, plus the most recent expansions in the current sort of season year, basically. And that will rotate at the beginning of every US spring, I believe. So now that's going to be really interesting. So what that'll do is basically mean that it's a much more friendly experience for beginners getting into the game, because they won't have to backtrack a whole bunch of older, sort of hard to craft cards that are potentially expensive to add to their collection. And it will also mean that people are forced to rethink, their decks on a periodic basis. So the decks that become like the big meta demolishers of the game that are seen across the board all the time. They don't tend to evolve a lot. They tend to stagnate a little bit. Those will be forced to adapt and change to keep up with the game, which is really cool. It means that things are going to be new and exciting all the time. I think it's just going to create like a good, I guess, refresh, wake up for the game in a lot of ways. It'll keep things interesting moving forward. It'll mean that they can actually have a few different competitive formats as well, which is really awesome. And I think it's generally really, really good. As with all announcements of this type, there's a fair bit of whinging online from people who think that their toys are being taken away from them. It's just, you'll always get that no matter what.
Quick, throw the nappy out the pram.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can choose to play wild format, or you can choose to play standard format, or you can play both. So you can still use all your cards if you wish. There's nothing preventing you from doing that. Yeah,
they're even giving you a whole extra page to store custom decks, so you get an extra 9. So now you have a total of 18. So if you wanted to, if you had, I wish I didn't have to reformat this hunter deck all the time, you have that option now. You can do that. You can use all of your separate characters that you've purchased. Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, when they released the latest sort of big expansion, the Explorers one, I know that we had a discussion, Luke, where I said I felt like the game was getting to a point where, as a filthy casual Hearthstone player.
not like a white collar player like Luke.
Not like a white collar player like Luke. He's just graduated. I've opened 2 legendaries this pack.
I
already have these legidaries. Man,
living the life.
It's been a tough week. Yeah,
it's been a tough week for everybody, Luke. I felt like it was getting to a point where I couldn't just drop back in anymore. There was cards and mechanics that I hadn't seen, and so this will slow down and enable me to play a bit more, just jump in every now and again, and then maybe if I feel like it, I can get back into the wild side of things and take on Hearthstone. But I think it's a really great move, and it's really indicative of Blizzard paying attention to what their people are saying. It's a bit of a shame that we do have the whinges, but you're going to get that regardless.
It's the internet.
Yeah. It's funny, like one of them, there's kind of like 2 most requested features of Hearthstone for a while now. One of them has been extra deck slots. They've finally addressed that, which is awesome. I'm a little disappointed that it's only 18, because honestly, if there was 80 deck slots, I'm sure I could fill them. I would have no problem doing that whatsoever. But I mean, this at least allows you to make like a standard version and a wild version of most of the different characters. So that'll give you 18 slots at the very least, which is cool. But the other most requested feature for Hearthstone by a lot of people is a tournament mode of some sort. So, the game itself actually manages a format where people sort of connect to it and play like a fixed number of rounds against a small player pool to actually make it run like a simulated tournament. Now, I have no idea when that's going to happen. It probably will happen because Team 5 from Blizzard have indicated that it's definitely one of the things they're looking at. It's a popular demand thing they can't really afford to ignore. But I think that this format change is almost like the puzzle that needed to be solved before they went in that direction. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I think that it's starting to separate between the competitive side of the game and the casual side of the game. It's still an iPad game predominantly. So there are still a lot of people out there who play it just for fun, and they need to start separating out the people who are playing it for seriouses.
Serial business.
For bloody sheep stations, so it seems, in some regards.
That's a very Australian term.
It is. So welcome to all our global audience. So this will have major impacts for their esports in Hearthstone for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, the one thing they have confirmed is that all of the official Blizzard tournaments throughout 2016 will actually be in standard format. So when they do their big finals at BlizzCon and
Interesting.
the World Championships and stuff, yeah. I mean, obviously it's in their best interest to promote standard because it is going to make people use the most current versions of cards. So from a bottom line perspective, of course, they want people to spend money on the latest expansions. That makes sense. But from a game's sort of health perspective, having people use the most recent cards and focusing on that, I think is actually a really healthy move, regardless of the financial benefits to them as a company. And if people can just get past sort of, this sometimes tribal view of, I can see it's just about the bottom line. No, it's not just about the bottom line. Sure, that's something that matters to them because they're a business and it has to, but all of the other benefits cannot be ignored either. It's actually a really healthy thing for the game overall. So
yeah, the majority of people are playing standard and that's the most accessible, and it is, a large part of it is the marketing. Esports and watching people play will get more people playing, so there needs to be something that those people will experience when they first join the game. That's it. And that's unlikely to be the hardcore wild level. Yeah, it's interesting.
I want new toys to play with every year. I want people to be playing with new decks. I don't want the same 4 decks to be on top of the ladder for year after year after year.
I'm pretty sure that if Blizzard had announced that there was a monthly subscription, you would still be excited about it, though. So,
look, I'd be a little bit less excited about that, but yeah, So the one thing that I think raised a few eyebrows and maybe created a little bit of complaint, which I can kind of understand, is that the adventures that are actually falling outside of the standard cycle, they've actually said they're going to remove from the online store, so you won't be able to purchase them anymore at all. You'll be able to craft cards from them using the dust system, which is kind of like the crafting resource in the game. But like if you've missed out on, say, the Curse of Naxxramas or Blackrock Mountain when they rotate, there'll be no way to actually go back and experience those scenarios in game unless you've actually unlocked the adventure before they remove them from the store.
That's a little lame.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. Yeah,
that'll be a maintenance thing from their end, I suspect. If they kept having to support, those wings as they call them, then I can imagine that would be quite a lot of resources their end. And so if they can concentrate on maintaining play so that everybody gets it, then good. But it sucks a little bit. I've got Curse. I don't have the Explorers, so I guess... Yeah.
Well, that's still in the mix, so you're okay with that.
Sorry, I don't have Blackrock Mountain.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll miss out on that one.
It's funny, like I was casting my eyes across some of the cards from those 2 expansions today, like Curse of Naxxramas and Blackrock Mountain, and thinking to myself, what is the game going to look like when a lot of these disappear from the current meta? And yeah, it's going to be massive. There are some cards in there that, like, most of the really popular decks are literally built around at the moment. So everybody's going to have some pretty hefty change. But the other cool thing is that, with the release of this new format split, Blizzard have actually said that with the base cards that form the core of the game, they're actually going to use this timing as an opportunity to revise a few of those as well. And there are going to be some tweaks and changes across the board to those cards because they're going to effectively form like the backbone of of the game. Yeah. And so no one has any idea what kind of changes are going to be made to those. So that, again, is going to be another curveball that's thrown everybody's way very shortly. So
if they change any of my Beast Heavy Hunter deck, I will be so upset.
well,
I will throw my toys out of the pram.
Yeah, well, at the beginning of spring, which will be autumn for us, so timing-wise, I think it'll be around March-ish, maybe April, depending on how late they push it. Yeah, the game's going to get a pretty major shake-up, so it'd be a really good time for people to jump back in if they've taken a break, or if or
jump over to Overwatch, which is due.
Yeah, or potentially that too. Yeah, it's really, really exciting. So I'll probably cover more on that as more information sort of gets revealed. But that's probably enough Hearthstone from me for today.
I'd say that was very short segment there, Luke. Good job.
Yeah, well done. Good job.
Oh, look, don't get me wrong. When the next expansion is actually properly announced, I'm going to be pushing for us to do a full Hearthstone episode. But that's another day.
You can quit anytime, right, Luke?
Cool. All right. So what else has been announced? Some EA stuff.
So it's, a little bit old news now at this point during the week, but EA announced that they will not be holding their major conference at E3, but instead held in the days before E3, they will have their own separate conference called EA Play, which could either be an amazing opportunity for them to capture a captive audience or the worst idea ever because it's EA. So
probably that one because it's EA.
Probably that one. Yeah. So it's a lot of I've read a lot of commentary about it and seen a lot of different things about it, and I think that overall, it's more people have concerns now about E3 generally. If EA are leaving, and it's not such a massive deal, I guess a lot of people are saying that, oh well, they'll leave. They won't be at E3, but their concern is that it's a trend, and there's already starting to be little bits around E3 that they're sort of separating out. The best thing about E3 is that it's a competitive space. So you've got all of the big houses in there, and they all have to compete against each other. So that's when you get Forza dropping Ferraris from the ceiling and the lights and the fireworks and all of that. And so if they start doing their own ones all by themselves, they're not having to compete against the other guys. Yeah. So is that going to have an impact on the wow factor that we usually get from E3? I'd say so. The bonus is that these separate conferences are not going to be open just to industry. A lot of them will also be open to the public, as E3 was to a small amount of people, small inverted commas, amount of people. So we'll see how that plays out. Is it a trend, or is EA signing their death warrant for their announcements this year? We don't know, but we'll wait and see. It'll be very interesting.
I think it makes sense if they weren't going to have enough space and, kind of resource allocated at E3 to display everything that they wanted to be able to display. Having their own event makes absolute sense. I think it's probably a really good move, actually.
Would you rather... are you going to spend 3 weeks now attending all of these different conferences, or are you going to go, you know what, I'll just go to E3, get an overall view, and then get the information from other people who can dedicate 2 days just to go see EA stuff when maybe 10% of it's relevant to what we want? Yeah, because their games are very far-reaching. I mean, you're going from Sims to Madden. So, it's a very different audience.
Well, E3 starts on June 13th and EA Play is going to happen on June 12th. And I believe both of them are going to be in LA still. So
yeah, they're all going to still be in the same area. There's another one that split off last year, and they're still going to be separate this year. And the name has eluded me who that is. Yeah. But I don't know. It's great that they're holding it close, and it's still going to be, I guess, attached to E3, but I think that it may impact their ability for that wow factor that they may have had.
So related to E3 as well, did you see that Bethesda have actually announced that they're going to have a big presentation at E3 this year? And I think it'll be the second time in recent history they've done that.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's going to be Doom. I'm so excited.
Doom's already sort of a known quantity, and I have no doubt that they'll use the opportunity to promote that.
It's going to be Doom's out tomorrow, mic drop, thank you very much.
That would be amazing.
I am wondering whether it's going to be something Skyrim related. So,
oh my God,
I think you mean Elder Scrolls.
Well, yeah.
You mean like rehashed Skyrim or a new Elder Scrolls?
I think you mean that
Elder
one.
Scrolls, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Luke isn't a
yes, I know what you mean.
RPG nerd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Skyrim's a pretty well-known brand, man. They may actually keep the Skyrim moniker for the next Elder Scrolls game. You just don't know. Might call
if they go
Skyrim
2, I'll be sad.
Yeah. Might be something like that.
I would be sad.
Well, maybe they'll reveal that you now get wolf armor. Yay!
Maybe they'll reveal that trees get horse armor. There you go.
Imogen's joke was better.
Okay.
Cut that one in.
I win. Yeah, cut that one out.
Remove that in post, Luke.
Here's an idea, though. Maybe we should do a sort of a stream of E3 as a group.
Ooh, that'd be
Stay
cool.
up super late.
Bit of commentary, record our thoughts of things that are announced.
I'll be delirious.
That'd be the worst.
Most of mine
Jamie
will
will be
probably
asleep.
be summed up by meh.
What's this game again?
Delirious
Who are
Jamie
you guys?
is best, Jamie.
That's the one we get every week. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, the next thing we have to speak about is not particularly serious.
What are you
I can't
talking
believe
about?
we're even talking about
Excited.
this.
Yeah. Well,
God.
shut up.
Skills are
So
super important to games.
Sure.
It is. So in the new WoW expansion, Legion, which I have no affiliation with, they announced a while ago, not sponsored, they announced a while ago that you'd have artifact weapons, which is the ability to pour sort of points and stuff and sort of build your weapons depending on your class and how you want to play your characters. Very exciting. Now we found out that included in that, they're going to include an artifact fishing pole. So for all of those people like me who like to log on and catch up with your mates while you're fishing a mythical world to get those chiefs,
Artifact fishing pole.
Artifact fishing pole, and
For
they're
real?
badass.
That being said, the angler one does actually look really cool.
And, you know, it sounds really
can't
stupid.
argue
Oh,
that.
what? I'm just going to go fish in WoW. That's really lame. But some of these poles will
'Cause it
give you
is.
the ability to turn into a fish, walk on water,
Cooler.
all sorts of different things. So these are going to be things that I think will play into a couple of the sort of the more nonsense quests, let's be real, that you get in a WoW. But I love those quests, the little side quests, and you get the little achievement of being
I
the expert
guarantee
fisherman.
someone's going to exploit that in a dungeon somewhere or a raid.
Yeah, they're going to be
Okay.
skating over a pool somewhere
Yeah.
for shoresies.
No, I think it'll play a major part in the story. It'll be a really interesting plot hook.
Yeah,
God damn
Hate
it.
it so
Luke,
much.
God damn. So I mostly want to mention this because I think that I'm just super excited. This is why I love Blizzard, because they are more than happy to make fun of themselves, and they will pour stuff into something like this, like they have in their emotes and everything else, that just makes the game more fun to play, more social, and they'll give you something else to do. Like they introduced the pets a couple of expansions ago, and that's basically Pokemon for WoW. So I think this is great, and I'm glad that I got the opportunity to mention how excited I am about the artifact fishing pole.
And
Okay, moving
so
on.
am I.
And scene. Stuff you guys.
Well, Jamie,
I was laughing with you.
I think Jamie and
No,
I
you
can
weren't.
talk about something that we care about now, which is The Witness,
Yes.
of course.
Yes. They've announced how much they made in their first week. Jonathan Blow said they've made $5 million in first
He
week.
announced
Yes,
this
which
from
is-
his cocaine-filled Lamborghini.
No,
To
that
the
doesn't.
roof.
That doesn't even make money. Like they're not in profit yet, but it's doing really well, which is so fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Another game, please. That's what we want.
Yeah, exactly. If it can just keep them working on whatever they're passionate about, so they can make some amazingly creative and unique games.
Do you think it's a
So
game that
glad.
they'd ever consider doing DLC for, like expanding it out a little bit? It could be
I
interesting.
don't know if I could properly answer that before finishing the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know how finite, conclusive it's going to be. So I don't know.
I'm going to preempt it and say, from what I've seen, yes.
You mean you're going to call it?
Is
No. I'm just
Ollie
gonna-
calling it?
I'm
Oh.
just saying that
I got so excited.
it's very easy to implement DLC for this sort of game.
Mark the spot on the calendar for all time. Yeah. So,
I'm going to end this Skype right now.
so
Yeah, they're doing well.
yeah, that's good. On the topic of games that maybe aren't doing so well, Ollie, what was this thing we heard during the week about an ant simulator game that was forced to shut down or something?
So there was a little indie game developer on Kickstarter a little while ago that, and this isn't a lot of money, we should say. This is $4,500. So decent amount into Joe Blow, but not much when it comes to actual game development. And one of the developers or lead program was like, doop-a-doop-a-doop, I am making a program, doop-a-doop-a-doop. looks at the bank accounts, realizes that that's not quite right, and it turns out his business partners had been spending it on booze and strippers.
Oh, God.
It's really cool.
It sounds like that's the first time I've heard about this game was this news story. And when they read the part about what the game was, I got super excited. I'd love to control a little ant horde and
Would
tell
you call
them
him
what to
Anthony?
do.
Horde. She said horde.
Probably. It's Anthony. Anthony and his horde.
Yeah.
Horse.
But it is hilarious just to imagine they went, should we code today? I know, we'll go next door.
Just do some lines. Yep.
Oh, dear.
This
There's
will
a
get our
triple X
creative
shop
juices
right
flowing.
next to their office.
Yep.
Yeah.
We could
It
finish
is their
we could
office.
finish this game today, or we could go and make it rain.
Yeah. Make it rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that was
just
certainly
just-
something.
it's sad. I mean, Kickstarter backers beware. It's just one of those cautionary tales once again, really, isn't it?
Oh, for me, the favourite part was, it's a setback but not the end. I'm very pissed off I lost my money. Fair.
Yes.
Especially considering how it was lost.
Yeah. If they'd lost it and run out of money and couldn't create the game, we'd feel bad for them and maybe do another Kickstarter. But I don't
No,
think
this
they'll
is just
be
hilarious.
Raising any more money for that game. So
No. There goes your credibility. That is
maybe they could go
out the
appeal
window.
to the strip club for their money back. How successful do you reckon they'll be? That's just
Speaking of-
No,
hilarious.
the ladies earn their money. Can't do that.
That's true. I said the strip club, not the strippers.
What I would love to have happen is all the backers collectively get together and buy a large shipment of real ants and then let them loose in these guys' offices.
Fire ants.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Bit of street justice. That'd be great. Yeah. Nice. All right. So there was one other thing that you guys were getting pretty excited about just before we started recording.
Little
so
bit.
Oh my god.
A little bit.
We got the Force Awakens Lego game that's been announced. What the hell?
The trailer for it is just a spoof of the Force Awakens trailer, and it's just magical.
I'm
There's
watching
no
it
other
now
words
for the first
it.
time.
Oh,
Really?
it's
I'm watching it
adorable.
again for the
It's
third time, and it's
just
still
the
glorious.
cutest.
Yeah. So Lego plus Star Wars, that's an easy win. And
It's
all
an
the Star
easy
Wars,
win.
so all the Lego games are really, really good. So
Yeah, I saw Lego BB-8 and was just like, take my money.
and
You wait
I'll-
to
Give me
the end,
this
he
game.
does the thing.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does the blowtorch thumbs up. Yeah,
What
Yeah.
is it? A middle finger.
so good. Yep. I will definitely be buying that one for my son. Yes, that's right.
Oh, the name is so cute.
I might have to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think my favorite
definitely
moment
buying that game.
in that
I will-
trailer is the stormtroopers with the flickering lights, and it's like, oh, and then just a guy at the back actually just playing
flicking
with
the
the light
lights.
switch.
Yeah.
And he's like, seriously, what are you doing?
The lightsaber.
hilarious.
It won't work. It's just Lego game. The Lego games, they just nail it every time. And I've always
I've
played on
never played
other
a bad
people's
one.
system. Yeah, I've never played a bad one. I don't own any of them, but I've never played a bad one. I am all the way in for this one. I am very excited. Any sort of fun little game would be great for those guys.
Just a shame once again that we're not going to see these Lego characters rock up in Lego Dimensions because Disney Infinity has the whole license for the Lego figures and their game. But well.
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
care.
personally happy that it's not happening in Lego Dimensions because then I don't have to buy Lego Dimensions.
Hooray!
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, last but not least, Imogen, you dug out some sort of cool
I did.
quiz. What's this all about?
Okay, so this is something that kind of came across my desk, let's say, this week, and it is it's a quiz. It's not a Facebook quiz. Nobody panic. It's by Quantic Foundry, which is two guys, the two Nicks, and they have been doing long-term research in games and how people use games and things like that. One of the Nicks actually has a book called The Proteus Project, which is all about online gaming and whether or not it affects the way that we live our lives or it doesn't, which is very fascinating. So that's all the background of it. So I was well into it. The more interesting thing is that I got you guys all to do your little profile. So it's a little 5 to 7 minute quiz, very simple. At the end, you can have the chance to register if you would like, and you can be part of their other surveys and sort of research that they're doing, or like I did, you can just go through and sort of get an idea and see. And it was strangely accurate. It uses sort of a web approach and it has 6 main areas. So you've got action, social, mastery, achievement, creativity, and immersion. And based on your responses to sort of a sliding scale of what you like in games and what you tend to do in games and what you tend to enjoy in games, as well as the type of games you tend to play. It will sort of do you a weird little blob in there, which will show your sort of draw to different sides. So what did you get, Jamie?
Mine says that I'm calm, which,
No.
persistent, which is usually true.
Annoying, yes.
Deeply immersed, which is spot on, and expansive.
Out of touch with reality, yep.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Wow, Luke.
Tell us how
When
you
I
really
play,
feel,
yes.
Luke. Jeez.
Well, no, that's true. That's true. When I play,
Yeah.
I get lost in my little worlds, my stories.
Antisocial.
Yeah, it's good. It skews heavily towards immersion and creativity and achievement in mine. Mastery is pretty high. Social is sort of and then action drops back. It should probably be a bit higher, but I think that's, pretty accurate. It's really interesting.
Well, I got...
My dog ate
yeah.
my homework.
Yeah, it did. So Luke didn't do it. So I got spontaneous, which is correct, also known as gaming ADHD. Relaxed, social, and creative, which just nailed it. I think I got 85% in my social, which is just, what I've said all along in this podcast is the only reason I play games is to play games with other people. And in the little description of what each of the components means, it does say that gamers with high social scores enjoy interacting with other players, often regardless of whether they are collaborating or competing with them, which is true.
So what you're saying is they're stating the obvious.
Exactly. And also got very high in creativity, which is all around you like to sort of bespoke your land. You like to be able to change things, adapt your characters, sort of mold the world, which is, I think, a lot where my sort of RTS type gaming comes in, and my world building games. So yeah, it was pretty spot on, and so that's why I got you guys to have a go, because I think it's really interesting. Interestingly enough, I got 44% in action, and I feel like that is a lot higher than I thought.
That's higher than mine.
Yeah, and it's because I think a lot of the questions I answered based on, when they're saying do enjoy sort of making big explosions and stuff. Through my times of Heroes of the Storm, I learned I do quite like kicking butt and blowing stuff up. So that was really interesting. How about you, Ollie?
I need to introduce you to a game called Just Cause 3 if you like explosions.
I saw someone put a cow on a wire and send it into space.
Yep,
so maybe
you can
it
do
is.
cow windmills. It's great.
Yeah.
I normally never do these because I hate these sort of things, but I got action oriented, sure. Spontaneous. Spontaneous.
So spontaneous, you didn't even say
spontaneous, I don't even care about the English language. Relaxed, deeply immersed, and creative. So I got like 67% action, 77% immersion, 69% creativity, and the rest is pretty low, with a hint of social in there. Because I do prefer my action RPG style games and then the occasional Twitch shooter. But yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I reckon if you do it, Luke, yours is going to come out with a high mastery score or a high achievement score for sure.
Yeah, his will be achievement and mastery.
Well,
it
I
has to
looked
be.
at some of the questions actually, and I think that there's a big difference for me between achievements and sort of uncovering hidden items and quests. Like
You're making assumptions. You haven't
That's
done the
part of
test. You don't know what
mastery.
the questions
Yeah.
are
I know. I have looked at the
they
test. I
kind of
actually
do.
got up to the last page, and then my window crashed, and I didn't go back in.
Oh,
so
likely story.
yeah, but
He pressed the close button. It's a now.
no. Look, there was questions around achievements, and video game achievements don't usually motivate me a great deal. I'll be honest. But completing games to a particular percentage does, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. And the reason for it is because I see achievements almost as like above and beyond what the game sort of expects from you. You kind of pushing the boundaries in different directions that you don't really need to in order to experience the full game.
What about achievements that are built for the game specifically and they're big?
Well, then you'll get them sort of by default through the act of trying to complete the game to the best of your ability. Do you know what I mean? It exists outside of the ecosystem of the game, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
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 So
Anyway, so if fans at home would like to do this game, I do recommend it. It's quite interesting, and then you can learn more about the Proteus Paradox book and some other stuff that these guys have done. Really
Again, not
interesting.
sponsored. Should
Not
be.
sponsored,
We're giving them
but-
amazing plugs.
If you are interested in the psychology behind gaming like I am, then you should Google the Quantic Foundry, and their quiz is called What Kind of Gamer Are You? I found it through the Geek and Sundry website, also not sponsored.
But feel free to, if you like.
Feel free to subscribe. Take a look. I'm a big data geek, so this stuff is really interesting to me, and I will be getting that book and giving it a read because I feel like I will slot in there to the online gaming world somehow.
Yeah.
Just somehow.
Yeah.
And
That's cool. We can chuck a link up on our social media as well, I think. So
Great.
yeah, and get some people to actually share what they get. That'd be kind of interesting to see. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Well, we should link off from that into our a big topic for the week, which of course is our party game of the month.
Crypt of the Necrodancer. Woo!
Yep. We need like a new sound effect intro to that segment, I think.
Just pause for a sec and just post-edit some of the music in.
That's probably not a bad
Yes.
idea, actually. I may have to do that because goddamn. All right. Anyway,
It's amazing.
we've started talking about the game already. So about a month ago, the first week of January, we randomly determined what our game review of the month for Party Game would be. And we, of course, randomly got the suggestion that Imogen made, which is Crypt of the Necrodancer, which I believe was released in 2015.
Correct. And it's going to be released on, it was released on PlayStation 4 and Vita yesterday.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I could
The
see this
Vita
game being...
still exists?
Yes, it still exists.
Oh, wow.
I could see this being really fun to play on PlayStation or Vita, actually.
Well, the great part of the PlayStation 4 connectivity is that you have the option to use a dance pad instead of traditional controllers.
That would be
Holy
amazing,
crap.
actually.
You can do it with your computer as well, but then you need the little smarts in it and you need to work that out. But yeah, you can play it with a dance pad, which is something I kept from all you guys because I was trying to set that up and I just never got around to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, well, should we start with a high-level overview? The game is basically a rhythm dungeon crawler sort of game.
Roguelike.
Roguelike, yeah.
Top-down 2D dungeon crawler.
That's it.
Isometric.
So Ollie, what do you mean by roguelike? Do you want to give us a bit of a summary of that?
A randomly generated dungeon, which gets progressively harder that if you die at any point, you reset from the start.
Yep.
Losing everything.
So annoying.
Which is not 100% true in this case because you cannot unlock upgrades that stay with you even if you die.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But they are far and few between.
Yeah, true. So, all right, well, I had a little bit of a sneaky peek on all of our Steam profiles before we kicked off the episode tonight, and I determined
don't do it.
that the person who had spent the most hours playing this game was, in fact, Jam.
Yay!
Winning! Do I get a prize?
Yeah, well, I actually was. I thought Ollie would come up as the one who'd spent the
No.
most time. But he was close, but not quite to the same time
My
as you.
soul got
Yes.
too cross.
So
Squeezed
before
an
when I
hour
was
in.
I was listening to Jamie play. She's like, I have to be Ollie. I have to be Ollie.
Did you get up to zone 3?
I did. Oh my
I
goodness.
witnessed it.
Bollocks.
And it's only because Imogen was watching. I finally, for the 4th time, hit the Zone 2 boss. And it was a different one again. And managed to smash it first time.
All right, in the interest
that
of
boss
pettiness,
anyway.
what level in zone 3 did you get to?
The 2nd?
Oh, man, you serious?
Yeah. The music. Oh, okay. So each zone has what, 3 levels.
And there are 4. There are 4 zones, each with 3 levels.
3 levels. The music, you get a new song for each level, and the default game music is fantastic.
Yeah, the
It's
tutorial music is
so
some of my
much fun.
favourite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you just have to basically choose, is your character going to go up, down, left, or right? That's what you're choosing, but it has to be to the beat, because if it's out of sync, you lose your multipliers, it can mess you up, monsters can get you. It's just amazing. So you find yourself bopping along to the music, and oh, I love it. And then once you make a kill, if you manage to stick to the beat from that point on, the whole floor of the dungeon that you can see starts flashing like a dance floor in alternating, which helps you keep to the rhythm. Yeah, and it's so adorable.
It's
Just-
it's awesome.
Just to add to that, is monsters drop coins when they die, and you sticking to the beat gives you a coin multiplier for those monsters dying. So a mob that drops, say, 2 coins normally, if you have a multiplier of 3, will instead drop 6.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
And also
very
the monsters
handy.
move with the beat. So each monster has a distinct movement pattern that links to the music.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
any-
amazing. Each time you come across new monsters, you have to pay attention and learn their pattern whilst keeping your character moving to the beat, keeping a track of your health, circling around to pick up any items if you want. There are treasure chests where you can pick up things that can help you out in different ways, like better attack, better defense, a little extra health. There's shops in each level. There's one shop, and it's fantastic because you approach it and it's made up, the wall is made up of gold bricks. It's very identifiable, and when you go through the doors, every now and then, like, they have different shopkeepers, and one of them sings along to the music, and it's just so funny.
good.
The innkeeper is a boss. I love that guy.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Every
It's like
time that I can
operatic.
hear him singing, I'll just sort of bop outside the door just so I can hear him singing. The game and its music integration is astounding. Like at the beginning of the game, you set up your responsiveness for yourself and for your peripherals, so for your keyboard, and to make sure that it's getting the right. So when you hear things and when you're pressing things, so that it sets the sensitivity of the game for you. So if you've got some sort of latency between that. I thought that was amazing because that sort of stuff is really difficult to get done otherwise. And then on top of everything else, the ability in the game to use your own music is excellent. Although I do caution people to choose wisely. I chose some ill-advised songs to play the game to.
I know Ollie tried this feature out. Did either of you girls try that?
No.
I did. One does not simply choose random Vampire Weekend songs to play the game to.
Yeah,
I did
I
not
stopped.
choose Overseer songs.
I stopped short of chucking some Fear Factory tunes on because I thought that would just kill me. Like,
Yeah,
thought
I
it
have
was
an
way too fast.
entire album on my computer, and I haven't moved a lot of my music onto my new computer because I don't use it a lot from my PC. And so one of the only things I had on my PC was all of my running music. That was bad and very difficult, but it was really novel to be able to pump your own music into the game. And so if it wasn't to your taste, then you could always sort of overlay it with your own stuff or give it a shot and challenge yourself with some high beat games.
I did find a couple of tracks that worked okay. Like I had a couple of Skrillex tracks actually that actually fit roughly the right speed. So yeah, they were kind of cool.
Yeah. It's just, it's so well reviewed. And so I chose it as my game to submit to you guys because it's fun and it is supposed to be very well done. And I believe that it is, although I did not play very much of it.
How much did you play again, Imogen?
Maybe 40 minutes.
You don't play?
Imogen
I
gets a
only played
pass
40
because
minutes.
she
All
obviously
right.
knew enough about the game to recommend it in the first place. So
Yeah. So,
It
and
is a
to be
very
honest,
polished game.
yeah, it's incredibly polished, and I am 2 for 2 in recommending awesome games that I haven't played and you all did. So it will go
Can
on
you
my
go for the
roster
hat
of
trick?
ones. Yeah, it'll be a game that I will drop into quite easily if I'm just looking for something fun to play by myself. It is reviewed incredibly well. It's 10 out of 10 on Steam. It's 4.5 out of 5 on Metacritic, which is huge.
yeah,
So I would highly, highly recommend this game. It's great fun. It's very difficult. It's
Yes.
it's really
It is.
deceptively difficult.
That's what I was going to
Achingly
add.
hard.
It's especially so early on in each of the zones in your starter level, you'll come across monsters sort of maybe individually or in little groups so that you've got to keep track of all of their patterns at once. As it progresses, the music gets faster, the monsters get more complex, maybe a little faster, maybe they've got little extra abilities to them.
They start
And
chasing
it's
you.
so easy to get swamped. And then after the third, you either have, if the song finishes on you, you automatically progress to the next level. And then after the third level, you go to a big boss fight. And, they can be punishing.
Yeah,
And
that was very much luck of the draw for me.
Yeah.
Like progressing the way I did. Some bosses I could not figure out, whether I was like, oh yeah, there we go, done.
yeah.
Yeah.
You do just blunder into some of them, and you've killed them before you've even really made too much of an effort. So
Yeah, there was one I did which had chess pieces. I do not know what I was doing. I thought, that's really clever. I'm going to have to remember what each of the chess pieces do and then move in. But no.
No, that is exactly what happens. You move in time with the beat with the chess pieces. Yep.
Yeah, but they didn't move differently. They all moved very similarly.
No, they do move differently.
Oh.
100%. Yep.
Oh, that's
I
pretty
didn't
cool.
get that one.
I know, because that was one of the bosses I beat.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like some of the mini bosses as well, like the dragon and the minotaur.
Oh, yes.
Sort of thing.
The
Like
red dragon.
The minotaur
damn.
cracked me up because he had like two giant horns that basically were a harp on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fitting with the musical theme. That was hilarious.
Yeah, Jamie figured out a pretty awesome kill the dragon strategy, which I witnessed today. And I will be trying out my own, which was really, really good.
It's the only surefire strategy for the dragons because, I don't know how much I should say. I don't want to spoil it.
People figure it out.
It's not a story spoiler.
Yeah, you'll
no,
see
you
it
need to
within
figure
5
out-
seconds of seeing a dragon.
True.
Well, I didn't. I died many times. And I think for me that the difficulty, and I mean, we just talked about that quiz, and one of the questions in that quiz is, do you enjoy games where you get punished by being taken back to the start? And I don't generally, but this game is something that I went, okay, I'm going to try again. But there was sort of, if I failed sort of 5 times, always in the same spot, it just got really frustrating.
If it wasn't for the fact that there are some permanent upgrades you can unlock, I think that would be really frustrating.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as it is, there's 2 forms of currency in the game that I was aware of. One was the coins, of course, and the other one was diamonds. Now, the diamonds, is it limited to 1 diamond per level? That was the impression I got.
No.
It's not. There's more than one. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you can unlock permanent sort of upgrades with the diamonds, such as like extra heart containers so you can take more damage, extra space in your backpack.
Even new drops that pop up in the chests just to give you a random chance of being a little better equipped throughout the level. It's a really novel way of improving your odds each time. So what you have to do early on is really, rather than trying to rush through and finish it, focus on trying to find all of the diamonds you can so that you can just keep bulking. Otherwise, you'll just find you'll get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was finding. I don't think I spent enough time spending those diamonds on things. I was just going to replay and never returning to the lobby. And then I sort of figured out very quickly that middle room is for permanent upgrades, and I really wanted to be in there. So I figured that out fairly quickly.
Health containers. First thing.
Oh, yeah.
Max them out.
Absolutely.
It's really clever the way that they have included that shovel mechanic as well. And so when I say shovel mechanic, very early on in the game, you get a shovel and you learn that you can dig through walls to get to sort of secret areas. You have to do it quite a lot to find keys. And if you wanted to sort of do sort of specific traps. And so there's a lot of the game that I suspect other people won't see. So your play experience will be quite different to others, I suspect. Also depending if you just find a little safe spot and you want to hang out there until the song ends, then by
or if
all
you get
means.
trapped, oh my goodness. So
Jamie
Imogen
got
was
trapped,
she started watching my broadcast because I hopped into this little room. I dug through the wall and I was like, oh, and I jumped on a button which threw me into the next spot, but it was surrounded by buttons all pointing inward. I could not move from that spot. Every
just
step I took
around.
sent me straight back.
Random generation dungeons.
It was early in the level too, so I just had to wait out the song to drop to the next level. And I hadn't seen it before tonight, and it was so funny and so weird. But there are other mechanics to the game that I haven't seen. There's a local co-op option, which I really wanted to try but didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, it makes sense that it's limited to only local co-op because I can't really see playing online being a thing with the latency risks. Because if you slightly out of time, that's going to really impact your game experience.
It punishes you, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can change characters too. I haven't played with that. Did any of you try different characters?
Yeah, I tried 3 different characters out.
What changes?
Not a whole lot.
Just
as far as
it's
I
just
could
the
tell.
appearance, isn't it?
As far as I could tell, yeah. It
I
might
thought
be
they
some
each
things,
had a
but
thing, but I wasn't sure. I didn't look at it very closely.
neither. That game I could only play for maybe like 10, 15-minute bursts. I could not play lengthy sessions of that game.
Because you were getting frustrated, or?
No, just because, one, it would pound my eyes into submission.
If you have
an epilepsy warning
problems.
on that game for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it makes some episodes of Pokemon look tame. That and yeah, it is actually just a genuinely difficult game, and I don't like being frustrated over and over again in a short amount of time.
I think high intensity probably sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, very high intensity. So, and I will say my only gripe is health items are by far the best items in the game. Like, they are second to the damage items, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree.
You wouldn't want to be focusing on that.
I was super angry when I accidentally purchased a shovel instead of a piece of cheese.
Which says everything, really.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah.
I didn't have enough money for the cheese after that.
I mean, ultimately, when you lose at this game, it's usually because you screw up your movement.
It's not because the game's
or you get
fault.
mobbed.
You get angry at yourself, and you're like, "Oh, damn it!"
Yeah.
Like, I always get angry at myself. I never get angry at the game. I'm like, "Why didn't I do that properly? I'm so dumb."
It's not like you're losing fights, really. I mean,
game.
you kind of just making player error and you're dying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like, it even took me a good 5-10 minutes to go, okay, I'm not using the arrow keys with my right hand. I'm going to stick with my WASD keys with my left hand as every other game ever.
Yeah.
Because, goddamn.
We probably need to send some big ups to Brace Yourself Games, who are the developers. And I think for this one it's relevant that the composers here, Danny Baranowski and Jules Conroy, did an amazing job with the music.
Oh my God, amazing.
And if you do, my biggest regret is that I didn't buy, so I bought this in the Steam sale, I didn't buy the version with the soundtrack. And I am devastated. So now I'll have to go
the
and search
entire
that out.
soundtrack on YouTube.
I bet you enjoyed the Jules Conroy part, which is the heavy metal side.
I did indeed.
You did.
I may have linked in the chat a Necrodancer track which has the shopkeeper in it.
Oh, I will have to give that one a listen. I'm just honestly pleasantly surprised and so happy that it was a great game, that it was difficult, so it wasn't a bit of a cakewalk for you Twitch guys who are good at this sort of stuff, and I will definitely be sinking some more time into this in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to go back.
I'm going to play it probably once or twice more, and if I don't get to Zone 4, I'm going to go uninstall. Good day.
It's available on Windows, OS X, Linux, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita. So no Xbox as yet, or there's no sort of rumors about it being released. So you may find that you will only be able to nab it on PC, but it would be definitely worth the pickup. I didn't see how much it was in Steam at the moment, actually. How much was it for you guys? Because I got it on sale.
I got it on sale too.
Yeah, I purchased it over the winter sale, but I think it was around the $15 mark, if memory serves. That was on sale, though, so I'm not sure how much it is normally. Jamie can check it while we determine the next game. All right.
It is currently $14.99 USD. If you get the collector's edition, which includes the extended soundtrack, extras, and the original Danny Baranowski soundtrack, it's $30.99 USD.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Oh, you can buy the soundtrack as an extra, Imogen, for $4.99.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yes,
success.
Yep. Yeah. And one day we will get the dance pad out and give it a shot.
Excellent.
That would be a wicked party.
I will video Luke on a dance pad.
Why would you do that to the world?
I will laugh.
Yes. All right, so we need to now select a new game for the February challenge. And just a reminder to everybody how this works. So basically we seek contributions from our listeners of the show to basically chuck in a suggestion for a game for us to add into the mix to be randomly selected. Now, the general guidelines are we're basically looking for games that are not console exclusives. We want something that's either on PC or across multi-platform, so we can give it a good shake across whichever platforms we happen to be. And we want something that's around $30 or under, can be finished or get a good idea of how it plays in around 10 hours or under. We don't want, monstrosities that are going to take us a good 30 hours to sort of get a feel for. Must be available via digital download is the only other condition. So we don't want to have to hunt around back corners of shops trying to find discs and things.
Then we'd have to speak to real people.
That's I'm out.
What is this outside world?
All right, so
Diseases.
we have a few suggestions added to the pool now from listeners, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to use the extremely scientific process of taking a large dice and rolling it against the table that we've got. So, all right.
Quick, hold the mic to it.
Without further ado.
Come on.
Do you actually want me to hold the mic to it?
I really don't care.
It does make a noise. All right, I won't do that. Okay. Roll.
Bitterness wins.
And we have a 4.
Ooh.
What's that one? Oh, okay. This is a submission by Simon Adicott. It is the Gianna Sisters' Twisted Dreams. What the hell is this?
I have no idea. To YouTubes.
Right.
Simon is #1 Party Loaded fan. So thanks, Simon, for that Facebook submission. And he came up first time. I am personally disappointed that it was not some of my newer picks.
I'm disappointed it's not my one. I was going to say.
All right, so what do we know about the Gianna Sisters? Should we just...
It looks cute. I'm through on the Steam
Fluffy
page at the
clouds
moment.
and rainbows is what the trailer
Side-scrolling
says so far.
platformer.
Side-scrolling platformer.
It says rainbows. I'm down.
Side-scrolling
pretty.
platformer. I'm interested. Cool. All right. And we know when this one was released. Is this a few years old or is it a recent one?
Release date 27th of September 2013.
Okay, so not too old. All right, couple of years. Yeah. All right, so we'll have to check that one out. And first episode of March, we will be going in and reviewing the Gianna Sisters' Twisted Dreams. So stay tuned until then, and we'll work out whether this is a good game or just a weird suggestion.
It looks very Ori-esque.
Okay.
Whether or not we're going to be thanks, Simon, or thanks, Simon.
I may have been looking at a sequel. There appears to be one with some multiplayer.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to have to do some research. Yep, one of them's multiplayer.
If there's multiplayer,
Released 2012.
that is cool. All right. Sweet. All right. Well, that should pretty much wrap it up for this episode. So thanks to you all again for chatting games and playing our challenge for the month. I think that worked out pretty well. I'm looking forward to doing this again. So if you want to suggest a game for us and or get in touch with us with feedback about the episode in general, you can hit us up at all the usual avenues. So mail through to mail@partyloaded.com. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/partyloaded. And you can also hit us up on Twitter @partyloadedshow. If you are enjoying the show and want to do us a solid and leave us a review on iTunes, that would also be greatly appreciated. So more reviews on iTunes actually helps to get our show up in the rankings and get noticed a little bit, and generally gives us some feedback about what we're doing well and what we're doing that you want to see us change. So let us know. That would be really, really cool.
If you want Luke to stop making puns, put it in the review.
If you want Luke to stop making puns, you are shit out of luck.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Ever.
I could try and it would still never, ever happen.
I don't think you want to.
No, I don't think I really want to either. And this is about the moment where I'd actually throw one in at you. But I'm strangely on the spot. Can't think of it.
You haven't happened to plunge one? I win.
Never mind. Cool. All right, well, what do you guys got planned for this week? Anything on the list which is interesting coming up in games?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to be picking up Tomb Raider this week. So we had somebody else in our sort of extended gaming group. We're going to have to come up with a different name for those guys. Talk about it and send some screenshots through, and it looks fantastic. And I've got my wonderful 1 terabyte Xbox sitting doing not very much, so I will pick that game up this week and give that a shot. I'm very, very excited.
I think you just came up with a great name for them. It's the extended gaming group. They're the eggs.
The eggs.
Yeah. It makes sense because of how much they're always shelling out for games.
There's the pun. There it is.
I didn't mean to make a wisecrack.
And scene.
Well, I'm really excited to jump in and pick up XCOM 2, which is out in a couple of days. So I'm planning on sinking a bit of time into that this weekend. That game looks amazing. So
you guys are like squirrel.
Yeah.
With that game.
I'm going to
someone just went XCOM 2 and everyone went bye.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Someone literally just has to go, this game's cool. Everyone goes, all right, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, people.
I think the conversation.
Armello's on sale. Sorry.
Yes.
Quick, everyone buy it.
Go buy Armello. Buy.
Actually, I will say, One thing I am excited for me personally is buying a new PC.
Ooh,
That's going to be
You'll have to
good.
give us a full report on that next week and how it all works
I
out.
will. It's
Yep.
going to be ridiculous.
Nice. All right. Well, let's hop off and go and purchase Armello.
Way ahead of you.
Yep.
Already done.
Sweet. All right. Well, happy gaming for the next week, and we'll see you in 7 days' time. Bye.
Ciao.
See ya.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.